Just a quick note here at the beginning of this video. This is a post commentary because for some reason my voice was not being picked up in the initial recording. I'm very sorry for this inconvenience, but there's not really much else I can do. So during the last episode, we saw Castile rise to the rank of a great power, and with it came their independence. Now, I did promise I would make an event about Castile, but unlike many of you have suggested, there's not going to be a independence war-esque scenario or event, because that, I think, does not really make much sense. I'm currently pointing you towards the government of Castile, and I would like to remind you that unlike the Byzantine Empire, where we have an absolute monarchy, basically the Byzantine Empress Irene II is the law. Whatever she says is done. This is not the same situation we have in Castile. There we have elections, we have a parliament, and we have a constitution that our empress has to adhere to. And I know that there are rulers who would simply override a constitution or bypass a parliament, but not our Empress Irene. She is neither malevolent or tyrannical, she is just. So whatever she has agreed upon, she will have to keep her promises. And I basically made up that there is some sort of an article in that constitution that states if Castile reaches a certain number of industrial power or certain industrial power, economic power, or even military power, that Byzantium and the emperors and empresses will simply accept their independence, right? So as soon as Castile is considered as one of the great powers, we would just agree that they are now an independent nation. And that's all good and fine. As I said, a just ruler, we will agree upon that. However, there's still the issue of the North African provinces that you can see right now. We have a lot of cores left in Castilian lands because we gave over some of our provinces in an attempt to solve the Berber issue a couple of years ago, but this was just meant as a temporary change. We still consider them to be, under our rule, obviously, but now that Castile is independent, we obviously want these provinces back. And basically, I've decided to create an event for Castile where they can choose what they want to do. They can either go with option 1, a diplomatic option, basically just giving us back our provinces, or they can go with option number 2, which basically just refuses our demands and will worsen our relationships. And I just want to mention here that this second option will have consequences. And, well, there's only one consequence, and that is war. So if that happens, we're going to have to go to war with Castile. But I do want you to keep in mind, Castile is not alone. Castile actually is allied by the Incan Empire, and so this could potentially draw us into a big war with two great powers, great power number 4 and 7. So we'll have to see how things turn out. I just want to mention here that I will probably speed up the time for most parts of this video because I can't really post comment all of it. So you'll see some parts of this video are just going to go forward quicker, and then it will go back to normal speed, and I will do some more commentary. So I hope you enjoy that. Right now we have actually just gotten the event. So basically Castile picked their option, and you can pause for a second to read it out. I can't actually see it right now. But as I've already mentioned, the Berber issue, in an attempt to solve the Berber issue, we gave provinces to Castile, and they have now refused our demands. And yeah, that means we're gonna have to go to war. Now, just as we got the event for Castile, we actually had an international crisis popping up as well. In this one, we have the Aztecs, who want to get some of their border or some of their core provinces back from the North American state of Ojibwe. Now, the Aztec, you should know, are actually in the sphere of influence of Inca, the one superpower allied to Castile, and therefore I decided that since we're probably going to go to war with them very soon, we don't want them to grow any stronger. We don't want the Aztec to grow stronger, because by extension that means the Inca will grow stronger. So therefore I actually decided to side with Ojibwe in this conflict. But I can just quickly say here that it's not really a big deal, nothing really happens. I think Bavaria is the one great power that sides with the Aztec, and they are quickly interested in a white peace because they are very afraid of us. So that was very good. We managed to keep the Aztecs small, and therefore we also managed to keep the Inca weak. But yeah, that was a quick crisis popping up. I hope that they're actually going to be a little bit more interesting, because the crises we had so far in this series were not anything important. I either didn't care or I don't know. So we'll have to see. So after adjusting our budget and bringing our armies and navies in position, I decided it's time to call in our allies and declare the war on Castile. So yeah, we obviously have a much bigger military power, but I had a look at the different numbers of brigades. So we started off with 105 brigades, whereas Castile had 60 and the Inca had 112. Now I'm not entirely sure how many our allies all bring to the table. I will, have a look at the war screen several times, but I've never really checked out how many Brunswick actually brings. Now they basically, as soon as we declared our war and they joined, they actually pieced out of their war with the United Kingdom. They were in that war locked in an eternal struggle for a very long time, and I think they basically just gave in and sold out Jalen. But that's fine. That's fine by me. We are going to destroy Castile here. Basically, my general strategy was that on the land we should have no problem rolling over Castile because we have way more troops, even if they mobilize, which is something I don't want to do because that's really bad for your economy. But Inca could be a problem since they actually have more troops than we do, and therefore I hope that our Grand Navy is going to shine and blockade off all of the streets. I did send one to the Gulf of Aden, basically blocking off the Red Sea, and I sent another one to Gibraltar, basically blocking off that region right there. And then I have two more navies, I think, they can do that can do some other things. But yeah, that's basically the strategy, and yeah, I hope the war goes well. The war is going basically as well as expected. At this point, I'm accepting a military alliance with the Worcesterbids, and the reason is that I actually had a look at the different spheres of influence several times already, and now I just did it again. Basically, the Carites are somewhat threatening to the east because they already have these done in their sphere. They're allied to Tabriz, and Tabriz is one nation I want to get into my sphere of influence as well, but because we own their core provinces, they don't actually want to have an alliance with us. So the east is a bit difficult. It could potentially be a difficult situation, and I don't want to be, in a crisis where we have the Carites backing Tabriz over some of their cores. So at least if that happens, right, I want to have some of the eastern nations on our side as well, and therefore I accepted the alliance with the Worcesterbids there, and I think I will also try and get them into our sphere of influence. Just here at the end of the video, I actually saw that Castile sent over some troops through the French lands, and we'll deal with this. We'll send, I think, 2 legions from Rome and from Hungary to deal with it, but shouldn't really be a big problem. Anyways, that is the end of this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed still, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.